Howdy peeps and welcome back to the channel. You may notice I'm sounding a bit weird today. I've had a cough and a cold and generally been a bit bleh, so my throat's not too great at the moment. What have we got today? Well, we've got the Takom World War I Mark IV tank, and this is the hermaphrodite version, or as they called it, the hermaphrodite for some bizarre reason. What this is it's a Mark IV British heavy tank, or tank I guess, and one side sponson has the 6-inch cannons in, and the other side has the machine guns in, so a mix of the male and the female. Blah blah blah. There's a lie on the box because it does only come with one metal gun barrel rather than two. I checked, it's not just mine, they're all the same. And all the various gumph that we normally get. On the side of the box, just some pictures of other Takom World War I kits. As some of you may be aware, I'm currently building their Big Bertha, and I thought this would make quite a good companion piece. Now yes, it's a limited edition, but they do pop up fairly regularly on Amazon, and usually for a decent price as well. I mean, I've seen them on there at the usual £52.50, but I think I paid somewhere like £37.50 or somewhere around there for this, so it's not too bad of a price for what is ostensibly a limited edition kit. And unlike the earlier Takom Mark IV tanks, the tracks actually fit on this one. It comes with the updated workable ones, whereas the original ones apparently didn't actually sort of fit, which could prove to be a bit of a problem. Anyway, let's crack the box open now. I've had a bit of a waffle and given the YouTube algorithms enough time to figure out this is what I want as the thumbnail pic. What we will see on opening the box is that I've not made a start building it, but I've made things easier. I've already taken everything out of the bags, apart from the destructions, because Takom bags are very noisy and rattly. See, thinking of you guys, and try and get through it a little bit quicker so that my voice doesn't go completely to pot, which it may well do, and you may well witness me dying live on camera. I shall make certain that someone uploads this should I die on camera. Just got to make it worthwhile. Anyway, I've even put the sprues in order. So firstly we get sprue A. We get two of those, and these are the wheel sprues, and this is probably what will put most people off straight away. Just the sheer amount of wheels these things had. There are many sets. None of them are visible, so you haven't really got to worry too much about cleaning them up too well. And they look well moulded, sensible. Nothing spectacular. I mean, they don't need to be accurate, as they're pretty much invisible. It's only the very bottom edge of some of these that you'll even be able to see, I think. And as is usual with Takom, we don't have any flash. Everything looks to be sensibly moulded. And this is a slightly older kit, so we've still got the round sprues rather than the flat sprues, which I don't really like too much. I find them a bit stiff when you're trying to take a part out. You cut there and there, and the part just wants to stay there, it doesn't want to drop out. So wheels, well, they're round and they're wheelie, that'll do. Then we get on to the next sprue, which randomly is sprue C, doesn't appear to be a sprue B. And again we get two of these, one for each side. And these contain, screech, well, we have the sprockets and the idlers, the rest of the gear system, because strangely they've put the entire, as you see there, we've got the final drive chain and sprockets. They put the whole drive assembly in, but you will never be able to see any of it. So, not entirely sure why. We have the track grousers, a couple of the machine guns, which do look rather nicely moulded, and slide moulded barrels as well, which is always good to see. But just running in general, detail looks solid. I mean, it's going to be clunky because of the subject that it is. Things weren't delicate and subtle back then. It was basically agricultural. And I'll say the MGs do look pretty good. I will just zoom you in on those for a moment, just so we can have a good close-up look at those. And you see a nice level of detail. The triggers are moulded open, so you can see. Although again, all that's going to be sticking out of the tank is basically that bit. So it didn't need to mould any of that, but never mind. And also on this sprue we have some of the little fiddly bits like the toe shackles, 2 different sizes of, or lifting hooks or whatever they are. We'll look at the back, and these parts are actually detailed on the back rather than the front, which is quite strange. We've got the nice rivet detail, everything's crisp and clean, flash free, and the little spring around that hatch looks rather nice, moulded in. So all looking solid so far, and I shall zoom you back out. There we go. Oh, that'll do. There we are. And we're on to sprue D, which contains most of the centre section of the tank. The top, the bottom, and various other plates, the track runners. And again, all flash free, clean, crisp. I can't say accurately moulded as in accurate to history, but I can say accurately moulded in that everything looks true and square and how you would think it would be, if that makes any sense. I suppose obviously I've never actually been up close with one of these beasties and examined every single detail of it. But yeah, again, a very nice looking sprue. No ejector pin marks on anything, or apart from the inside of the unditching beam there, which I assume that's the unditching beam. But again, there's a back to go on that, so that will never be visible. The thing is, all these interior parts, there's no interior for the kit. But they've got the trouble of keeping the ejector pins off those as well, which is good practice, I guess, for the future. So that was sprue D, and that's all looking mighty fine and shiny and dandy. Then we're on to sprue E, which again is excuse me, mainly more of the, I would say armour plates, but it was more just sheet steel rather than armour on these, to be honest. Because I think most nations did at the time, either towards the end of the war or just after it, developed anti-tank rifles. Literally just gigantic bolt action rifles that could put a bullet clean through a tank. But there's some videos on them on Forgotten Weapons and Sea and Arsenal. They did Matthias and May did a really good video on the German tanker there, which is very interesting to watch. But anyway, what we got? We got the so we've got the main plates, got the unditching beam mounts, the exhaust pipe, the little ball mounts for the MGs, more of the exhaust pipe, and just random flappy or sheet and plate bits that I'm guessing go on all over the place. And again, the details on the opposite side of that. Excuse me while a couple of typhoons go overhead again. For those of you who aren't local, we did have a bit of a thing, was it last week or the week before, where I think it was a terrorist threat on an EasyJet flight, and a couple of Typhoons had to be sent to escort it, and they went supersonic over land and scared quite a lot of people with a big loud bang. I didn't actually hear it. I may have been asleep at the time. But it was, as I was going to say, with this, very nicely detailed again. Everything is... there's nothing remarkable about it. It's just good, solid workmanship. I say it's one of those things that you sometimes don't necessarily get. Now if we start with sprue F, this is the main side plates, and you can see the sheer amount of panel lines, detail and riveting that's gone into these. I mean, there's probably a couple of swear words on there in Braille, to be honest. Sorry, I couldn't resist it. But again, I mean, they're laying flat on my cutting mat. They're not warped. They're exquisitely moulded and detailed, and it's one of the main parts of the tank that you're going to see. Both as you can see, the bits where the main body of the tank hasn't got any detail on because it'll never be visible. But again, no ejector pin marks. Oh, excuse me on that. They're all ran again, all over the sprue. Trying to burp very quietly, and we've got a bit of wind going on as well. One of these days I'll accidentally rip a loud belch off on camera, then you can all have a good laugh. So, sprue G, and this is the main sponsons, or this is the main the gun, the cannon sponson, as it were, or I'm guessing probably two of them on here. And again, we've got really good breech detail on the guns. You're never going to be able to see. It's just, well, I mean, I suppose you could open up the hatches in one of the sponsons, but then there's no interior inside the rest of the tank, so you'd have to fabricable together a scratch-built engine and all sorts just to make it look right. But again, we've got the same thing with this sprue. Everything is clean, crisp, accurately moulded. I'm going to say that. Doesn't appear to be any massive seam lines on any of the parts so far. And again, so we've got the same attention to detail on the back. No ejector pin marks and where you don't want them. So the little fiddly bits are little and fiddly. Some maybe slightly overscaled, but World War I tank, they were built more as agricultural machines. I'm assuming. I can't really speak with any great knowledge on the subject, but I would have thought that as they were probably made at the time by tractor companies or that kind of thing, they would have probably used the same sort of thought processes. Anyway, and sprue H, the final large plastic sprue, and these are the smaller female sponsons. And yeah, we've got more small fiddly detail parts. So there's nothing too fiddly on this tank at all, and there's maybe half a dozen really. Well, we've got those, but even I wouldn't even call those tiny parts. They're just small. We do have ejector pin marks on the inside of these, along with detail, but that's going to be on the inside face, so I don't see that being an issue either. Or I assume it's the inside face. There is a very slight sink mark on them as well, but that's only because I happened to catch it just right in the light and I saw it. By the time you got primer, paint and some weathering, you'll never spot it, I don't think. Whether they're even visible or not, because that would be the centre part of the mounting, and then you I'm guessing one of those either side of it. So you may well find that part is all hidden up inside. But again, the same level of crispness, clearness, accuracy with the moulding on the rivets, the panel lines. Same for the gun again. Everything looks good. Now, what else do we get in the kit? Well, tracks. Now, tracks actually come in a Ziploc bag, and thankfully mine stayed Ziplocked up. Now, these are a click together variety, I believe, and far less fiddly than some of the other ones I've seen. Let's have a go, let's see if they are clicked together. Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, they will be. They're going to be a pig to get on though. Oh, there we go. We just got a tiny sprue nub to knock off on the top of each track link. I'll lift them up a bit closer for you to see. Focus on my hand, thank you. If you can just see right in the centre at the top, there's a little nub there. Again, that's not going to be difficult to clean up. If I turn them over, you'll see how they just clip together. So, yeah, happy with those. They'll definitely do a good job. And being workable, it'll be nice and easy to get on afterwards as well. What else do we get in the box? Well, we get a short length of metal chain for the unditching log. Just standard, I'm guessing. Oh, it looks a bit bright to be steel, so it's probably chromed, but just a piece of chain, nothing spectacular. Then in the bag with the instructions, we get one metal barrel and one tiny sheet of photo etch. Now the photo etch, this etch is always nice to get, but whether it's needed or not I don't know. We'll see where it gets used. And let's say the barrel, yeah, it's milled out at the end, but yeah, it's just an aluminium barrel. The plastic ones would probably have been just as good slide moulded. But what I did get, because I was putting it in order at the time and I noticed they had them, so I got the Aber gun barrels set for the, I got them for the Mark IV male. So I've got two for the 6-pounders, so I'm covered on those for the main guns, and it comes with 3 of the Lewis machine guns as well, and a bit of etch. This wasn't expensive, so they do look very nicely machined. The etch is going to be, yes, an extremely fiddly pig to put together probably, but might have to solder that rather than glue it, and just be really careful. There's a full set of instructions in there, tells you how to do all the bits and make everything up. So I just thought it was a worthwhile addition to what is, from what I hear anyway, possibly one of if not the best Mark IV tank kits on the market. I think it's a fairly close toss up between this and the Meng. And if I look through the instructions, they're probably almost identical build wise. I have been going through this fairly rapidly. Good on. So open, nice solid, well, it's not glossy but it's no colour anyway. Instructions, just thanking everybody for their contribution on this project. So you're welcome, Takom. Colour callouts in MIG, dark tracks, old rust, gunmetal, white, copper. We have the sprue callout, and yes, that doesn't have a sprue B on there, so we're good for that. And one's popping together the front armour plate with the MG. Main hull goes together, but I would, because of the angles of that, what I would be tempted to do is to build up the side sections first, the track sections, so you can then line this up into the marking or mounting points on there to make sure it's the right shape. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, half a dozen plates. Trying to get them in all into the exact right angle so they fit together is going to be awkward. So I wouldn't necessarily start at step 1. But anyway, so put all that together. Front tow hitch goes on, exhaust goes together. The upper hull assembly, attaching the exhaust. A few more random little armoury bits, which is probably just the exhaust covers. And the top hatch. And the rear hull assembly going together with the, is that the fuel tank or is that stowage box on the back? I can't quite remember on these ones. I know one of them had the fuel tank on the outside and they decided that was a bad idea. Then we go on to the hull assembly, or it's the right and left side, it's being the right. So as you can see, it's got all the drivetrain and all the interior detail for that. And popping all that together, then popping the road wheels in and the two halves together, handily telling you where the wheels go in relation. Now there are 27 sets of wheels per side, so that's 54, that's 108 wheels in total. Yeah, good job they're all hidden up and you're not going to have to sand every single one of them down and make it smooth. And we're on at the tracks, click together, 89 links per side. The grousers, it says to attach 15 onto each set of tracks, so we've got 90, 15's in 90 goes nice and evenly, so we can, well 89, but 90 is close enough. So putting the grousers on, we can soon figure out the maths of that. Well, if you've got 15 on 90 tracks, you're going to want one every 4 links, aren't you? Excuse me. Then we're on to the mirror side of the left side, which is just going to be the same thing. And with the unditching rails, etc. going on, and the main guns going together. Again, a bit of a shame because most of that detail is going to be lost as soon as you put the sponsons on. Don't know if they're going to be removable. Doesn't look like it. They don't polycap on like the Meng ones do. I think it was the Meng ones that polycapped on, or was it the Tamiya? I think it might have actually been the Tamiya one because that was battery powered, so you could pull it off and change the battery. Right side turret going together. Then we're on to the machine guns. Which is just an annoying shape given how crowded my desk is. So the MG's going together, Lewis guns I believe, for the left hand turret, and putting the left turret together, which is obviously a lot smaller than the right turret, and sticking all the bits together. But what I would have done is I'd have built at least one of those, then put that together and attached it to that, or possibly built both of them up, and then got the sandwich right so that they fit. Just thinking ahead, telling us to cut off a bunch of rivets there because that's where the plate fits. And the last steps are the unditching beam assembly, which is where most of the photo etch comes in by the looks of things, and the chains to attach it. So yeah. And on the back page where we get the back view of the tank. So that's what comes in the box. I'm surprised I managed to go through that quickly, and my voice has held out fairly well. Just with a minor belch issue in the middle. So there we go. The Takom Mark IV 1/35 scale hermaphrodite tank. What do I think? Again, obviously I can't say to the build how it's going to fit together. I can just take my experience of other Takom kits and say they generally fit together pretty damn well. So I'm not expecting any serious fit issues. There might be a few minor little adjustments required, niggles, bashes with a hammer to get them to line up, that kind of thing, but nothing nasty. So yeah, I think it's looking like a solid and sensible kit to build. There's not a huge amount to it. He says the more aircraft related modelers amongst you might be thinking, oh my god, that's millions of parts, but us armour modelers are more of a weird breed. That's not a lot. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave us a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Enjoy your modelling, have a good day, rock on, peace out, bye bye.